Oh shoot, I didn't even have to turn the camera on. It's the little things in life. What's going on, everybody? It's Jon Does, episode 98.
98, and 2 away from the big 100.
Heckin' 98. Heckin', yeah. They don't want
Napoleon Dynamite over here.
They don't want you cussing in the first, 30 seconds of YouTube anymore. Because they're just idiots.
Who?
Because YouTube, the YouTube doesn't want you to cuss in the beginning of your videos anymore because YouTube has decided they are children and profanity is offensive to them.
Yeah. It's like...
We can't do our jobs. We're in 6th grade.
Yeah,
Don't cuss.
Yeah, I've had a few times my roommate's son call me out for using bad words. I think I said stupid.
Oh, man. That must have been
harsh.
Yeah.
I scarred him emotionally.
Well, anyways, it's episode 98, which is crazy. We got 2 more episodes away from 100. That sucks, though, because this is the last episode.
Just kidding.
Yeah, you looked scared there for a second.
I was confused, more so. Yeah. But I'm back again. It's me here. Big Daddy P.
Big Daddy P. And what else is there? Oh, yeah, before we get going with everything, don't forget to check out Dinosaur.com right there.
Check it out.
Check it out, baby. Also, follow me on Instagram.
And OnlyFans.
And,
that's a given.
Instagram is free links to my OnlyFans.
There you go.
So you should follow me there. But yeah, WildDinosaur.com is the best place to support the channel. If you like what's going on here, then
and you should.
Excuse me.
If you like what's going on here.
I've been super gassy lately. I think it's because I drink so many bubbly waters.
It's hard once you start, though. It is kind of hard to give up.
The bubbly water?
Yeah.
Well, they have replaced sodas for me mostly. I still drink sodas a little bit, but not as much as I was.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not destroying my teeth, but it is just constantly leaving me bloated because I'm 5 bubbly waters a day or something.
Dude, I've honestly, because of drinking them over here, I've been buying some at work. This is, one of those things.
Well, LaCroix, sponsor us.
There could be worse.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of the reasons I switched to bubbly waters because there's not a lot of sugar. There's no sugar.
There's no sugar. Yeah. I think, and it gets you hydrated.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about carbonation in your stomach or something. There's still some conversation around that, how it might not be good for your stomach lining.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too.
But anyway.
Yeah, go to wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. If you like your stomach lining. Sorry, I'm still adjusting the
camera. You like your stomach lining, buy a nice shirt and wear that over your stomach.
Yeah, cover up that stomach lining with a beautiful Wild Dinosaur shirt. How you been, dude?
Pretty. It's been a long week, but I've been good. We had some nice progress on our record last night. That was a positive.
Oh yeah, we did some work on that. I listened. Actually, I have something to say to you real quick about that. So just cards on the table for everybody. Pat was working on a song. I took the song and I chopped it up a little bit, and I was like, "Here's what I did with the song." And then Pat basically remade what I did in a better way. And I was listening to it, and I like it, I think, better.
All right. Well, that's what we were going for, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
The noisy stuff that I had put on there, I think is, okay and works a little bit, but you had jumped on the matriarch last night for some noisy
Shout
stuff.
out to Moog. Also sponsor us, please.
Yeah, Moog. I'll take some free stuff, like another grandmother.
Yeah.
Like a real grandma. I'm an orphan, and I just want some family.
They've been blowing out the dark versions, but I know you're not a big fan of those.
Yeah, well, that's why they're blowing them out, because they're trying to get rid of them because they didn't sell. Because
they probably made too many.
People wanted the colorful ones.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, because they're better. I'm just saying. There's no argument there, Pat.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. I am not on it today. It is Friday.
It is
though.
Friday, so it's fine.
I think last Friday we were like super giggly for a while.
Yeah.
This one's just like things are just not
Friday.
Things are not hitting right.
Which makes sense. Friday evening.
Yeah.
It's been a long week.
Pat
but we are here.
Pat came in hot talking shit about H3 earlier.
What?
He was like, he's Jewish. I'm just kidding. No, he didn't say that.
I definitely have nothing against. Trying to compare me to Kanye West over here.
Pat Ye West. Pat Ye East.
Jesus.
Peasus.
Jesus.
So I'm excited about Sunday because Sundays are the days that I've been dropping the conspiracy videos.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen those or not, but check out my shorts on YouTube Shorts.
You have them on Instagram as well?
Last 3. I post them on Instagram, but I put them up as stories, so they only last for like 24 hours.
Okay.
But the shorts stay up. And I have a playlist for those. But the last 3, there's this character I've been doing that's like, he's the Ancient Aliens guy, essentially. But he does like various conspiracies. I've shown a couple of people the new one, and at least 2 people have said this is the best one so far.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
Which is kind of surprising to me because, I don't know, I thought the Empire State Building one was pretty good. It was. They're all pretty good.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
I have the second one that I actually started writing, I haven't even done yet because I wrote it and it's kind of funny. It's just not as good as, like, definitely not as good as those other ones. And if I rewrite it, then I need to redo some Photoshop stuff. But
I think I've seen more episodes of Ancient Aliens through the Vice had a series a few years back, which was Action Bronson and Friends Watch Ancient Aliens, and the editing was hilarious. It was so funny. Probably just because of that. It was like Action Bronson and a few other guys, like The Alchemist, the producer, and a few other guys, just hanging out, like smoking and watching Ancient Aliens.
I remember seeing some of those. Yeah.
It was off the wall. And then they would have guests on, and they would have like food delivered and stuff like that. And the whole episode was shot in front of a green screen, so the editors or whoever was doing it would just put in hilarious background things, and it was good.
I remember when the show not that one,
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, when the show started to premiere, I remember having some friends from college. I don't want to name any names, but you know them.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. It was like, dude, have you seen this? This is like. This is mind blowing.
I remember being up in Chico one time, and we spent like an entire day watching Ancient Aliens.
It was the Chico person for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty fun though. I'm not opposed to doing that again.
No, I mean, like, Ancient Aliens is a funny show, but when you do take it as, and this is funny because I did an episode, was it last week, where I talked about the Rashat structure a little bit and the whole thing about Atlantis.
Right.
Yeah. Here I am saying like Ancient Aliens is bullshit, and then being like, but then there's this Atlantis
talking about ancient Egypt and all
that. I mean, there's some things that I think are pretty interesting that I've been following up on. I hate to put myself in the Joe Rogan fanboy category, but there's some like Joe Rogan clips where I'm like, dude, I totally get how some like guys fall into that trap, because you start off with like, oh dude, there's like the pyramids might actually be like 10,000 years older than like they've been telling us for a long time. There's some like evidence for it, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And the next thing you know, it's like COVID vaccines are like making you magnetic, and you're like, what the fuck?
It's a slippery slope out there with the conspiracies.
That's one of the reasons why I still like things like aliens and Bigfoot, or like the Loch Ness monster, or even these like history theories, because
those are for fun and they're harmless.
Yeah, they're totally harmless. Like, I mean, somebody could go out of their way to make things dangerous, but like, it's no vaccine, COVID vaccine like conspiracy nonsense or anything like that. But I don't know. I do find this whole idea of what we know about history and civilizations like potentially being wrong. I find that fascinating because there's totally probability that there's like older civilizations that existed that we either might know like fragments of or haven't heard of before. You know, like, I don't know. If you believe humans have only been here for 2,000 years, then yeah, you probably don't believe that there's like old civilizations out there. But there are structures out there that like the Sphinx, for example. I'm totally going on like a whole thing here.
You're on the Sphinx tip.
Well, it is fun and fascinating.
It is. I agree. And one of the ones that I have liked recently that I saw was the Antarctica one about how aliens have like semi-colonized Antarctica.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was that military experiment that I think it happened in the 50s, I want to say, where the U.S. sent a bunch of Navy troops and officers and everything and ships to Antarctica, and then
never came back.
No, they came back. They came back almost like instantly, and they're just like, well, "What happened?" And it's like, "Oh, we just couldn't make it work or whatever." I don't know. I can't remember what the reason was, but nobody like talked about it or anything.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things about that. There's a whole bunch of things about the Antarctic that I've heard, like various theories and stuff. That there's like a alien spaceship buried underground, and
or like an advanced civilization that was there.
Yeah, and like basically all the governments, because most governments have like scientific outposts in Antarctic,
right?
The Antarctic region. And so a lot of people are like, well, the governments are just like covering it all up and like protecting the aliens. And like we get trickled out little bits of like technology and stuff every couple of decades and stuff like that. But also,
that's how we just got quantum computers.
But also, yeah, for sure. That's how we got Facebook, by the way.
Oh, dude, I was thinking, I actually, when you were just posting something to Facebook, the link.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, for whatever reason, when Mark Zuckerberg was had the testimony before Congress.
Yeah.
And then the congressman asked him, how exactly does Facebook make their revenue? And then he just point blank, Congressman, we run ads.
Yeah.
Have you never been on the site?
No, they hadn't. That's why we need to have age limits in Congress.
That was wild. Anyway, that was off topic. But.
It is funny though that you brought that up, because it was like basically anytime I see like most of these tech dudes get pulled in for like congressional hearings, it turns into like, so can you help me reset my password on my phone? Like, I don't know how to do this. And it's like, you're wasting taxpayer money like doing IT troubleshooting. Right,
why is all this stuff showing up on my Facebook feed? It's like, because you follow this stuff. Yeah, you subscribe.
You searched it. You like, there's...
I love it.
It's great. Oh, American politics is probably the most pristine form of politics in the world.
I mean, no hate, but when you have... we could get into this, but
well,
necessary.
Let's move on a little bit, because there's actually a lot of stuff to talk about, because earlier this week, on Monday's episode, I had found out that they were going to be doing an announcement on Tuesday, and then, of course, Wednesday I do my 90s nostalgia episode, so I didn't get to talk about this very much, but I thought today would be a good day to talk about the DC news, partly because, as some of you guys might know, I'm not the biggest comic book nerd, and I feel like we're getting into this age of...
Ultron,
the age of Ultron. We're getting into this era of like characters that are like B, C, D list characters that I'm not super familiar with. Like, who the hell's Batman? I've never heard of him before. I'm just kidding. But both Marvel and DC like are doing big things and bringing in characters that aren't like the Spider-Mans or Batmans or, the big diamond level characters.
I mean, look no further than the Peacemaker show from last year that we loved.
For sure.
But there were some off-the-wall characters in that.
So there's a lot of stuff coming, and this DC announcement that James Gunn laid out is still a little confusing on some stuff, but there's a lot of stuff here that gets me excited for the future of DC. And again, I'm not talking crap on Jeff Snyder, Zack Snyder, or Jeff Snyder. Really, why would I talk shit on Jeff Snyder? He's been dropping mad scoops over the last couple of months. Really, I don't know if you've been following that at all, but
I haven't. But Jeff Snyder is great.
The Schmodown legend.
Yeah, he's a Schmodown legend.
He does a show with John Rocco once a week, and he drops like massive scoops on that. Or he has
the Snyder.
The Snyder. And I think he went to this DC thing because what they did was they invited a handful of press to this to the Warner Brothers lot, and they did a special presentation for them on Monday.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was all on Monday.
I would have liked to be there.
And then they the trades and all of the online reviewers and stuff that were there got to release it the next morning at like 9:05 or something like that. They released it early in the morning and then quickly put out a video of James Gunn explaining. It's like a 6-minute video that they tweeted out with James Gunn also doing an explanation. But yeah, no shade to Zack Snyder. I like him as a director. I'm super pumped for Rebel Moon that I was telling you about the
unofficial Star Wars film.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a Star Wars script, but then they were like, nah. So Netflix made it instead. Yeah, I just was really getting over the whole Snyderverse stuff. But we can talk about that here in a couple minutes. I'm going to do a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, I will I'll get into it with the DC stuff. So we'll see you on the other side of the commercial.
I'm Richard from Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities, and I give these stickers away at every pet wedding. The kids love them too. This bag from, what's his name? Wild Dinosaur? Weren't they all wild? What an oxymoron. Anyways, I like to put my special things in this bag. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is my spirit animal.
Life gave me lemons, so I sold them for this sweet baseball tee.
All right. Check out wilddinosaur.com. Dark John said so.
Dark John will haunt your dreams.
And Linda is actually kind of crazy, too. She will show up to your work.
Unannounced.
Yeah, unannounced with, I don't know.
Handbags full of weapons.
Positive pregnancy tests.
Not hers.
Not hers. She was just like, I found this.
She's postmenopausal.
Linda, oh, Linda. I love you, Linda.
All right. So what? So
you're over the conversation already. You're like, shut up, John. Tell me about DC.
I'm excited. I want to hear about some DC stuff.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying before the break, James Gunn came out and started talking about the slate of DC stuff coming up, and there's a lot of weird stuff happening, which is kind of cool. So it
seems like it makes sense with James Gunn at the helm.
There are some complaints from people saying that this is too James Gunn, which is kind of fair. You know his sensibility. It's weird, offbeat characters for the most part. And then people being like, well, you know, he's going to do Superman. He's going to do Bat. Well, he's not writing and directing all of them. I mean, he's writing some of it.
We could say that I think myself, like many others, hadn't heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy until the movie was announced. There may have, I mean, of course, they were a little more popular than some of these DC franchise characters, sure. But I would say that many probably were unaware of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think I'd heard the name once or twice, but I had no idea. I think I'd seen like Rocket in a comic or something like that, but had no idea who he was. But yeah, he actually kind of changed Marvel because, you know, that first phase of Marvel stuff, we got all the standard Captain America, Iron Man, Thor.
Right.
And then the Avengers. And then we start getting sequels to things. Iron Man 3, Captain America 2, Thor the Dark World, and then Guardians comes out. And that was completely new for Marvel at the time.
Yeah.
James Gunn really nailed it with that one.
That was only a year after the first Avengers film.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to say it came out, or maybe two years.
I think it was 2 years.
2014.
Yeah, I think it was 2014. And has done a really good job with what he has. And the other thing to also remember too is before James Gunn got fired from Marvel, because he got fired for old tweets, it was a whole issue that was really stupid. It was like one of those
like off-color jokes or something like that.
Yeah, and like in the midst of the conversation around what a lot of people consider cancel culture, that was one of those things where it's like that was unwarranted, really, in my opinion. Like, okay, we've all made some dumb things, and like the tweet was more than a decade old at that point. It wasn't like something he just said. And I think it was something he'd like apologized for like a couple of times since then. Anyways, I don't want to get off on that too much, but yeah, he got fired from Marvel. But before he got fired, he was actually setting up the whole cosmic side of the Marvel universe. Like, he was planning huge chunks of the Marvel universe, spearheading some of it, really. Like, Eternals might be a James Gunn thing. Like, the fact that we got the Eternals movie might have been, like, James Gunn being like, that's something we should use to set up this.
With James Gunn at the helm, that movie probably would have been a lot more successful than it ended up being.
Maybe. I mean, I do like Chloe Zhao's directing in that. The movie is a little... it's a little boring.
Some fantastic actors in that movie. Like,
yeah,
the cast is so good.
Totally great. And I do think there's room for them.
What's his name? Barry Keogh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd never known how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, he just got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that Banshees of
Inisherin?
Inisherin, yeah.
He's playing the Joker.
Nice.
In the Matt Reeves.
I like that. Oh, right.
He's in that scene. He's in that
end.
scene.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get more of him at some point. But we'll talk about the Batman because that comes into play here in a little bit. But so one of the things that we're starting off with. Oh, and I have graphics today too.
All right, nice.
Yeah. So
put in your research.
First thing we have is Creature Commandos. And so everything I pulled comes from the Hollywood Reporter. So I'm just going to do quick little blurbs here. Creature Commandos, a 7-episode animated series written by Gunn. He'd actually teased this like a month or two ago. He's like, I have a show that I'm almost completely done writing the whole season for. Written by Gunn, that is already in production. Originally a team of classic monsters assembled to fight Nazis. This is a modern take on that concept. The voice actors have yet to be cast, but the executives are looking to find people who can voice the animated characters and also portray the live-action versions when the anti-heroes show up in movies and series. And I did hear some of these... I know Pat can't see them very well because it's super small, but these characters up here, this is what the team is. The one here on the
Bride
right...
of Frankenstein?
Yeah, the one here on the right actually is Weasel from the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
So he's in this, and then this guy here with the yellow shirt, that's Rick Flag's grandfather.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we actually, I think it would be kind of cool to bring Joel Kinnaman back as his like grandfather.
I'm in. I'll be in for that, yeah.
I could get behind that.
I would say the Suicide Squad is probably the best thing I've seen him in.
I would agree. I haven't...
the best acting that I've seen from him. Not that he's been terrible or anything.
I haven't... to be honest, I don't think I've seen him in a lot of stuff. And I never saw the RoboCop reboot. I
did. I remember like having an afternoon where I had like some tacos and a quesadilla and watched that RoboCop. And
it's no RoboCop unless Bill Pullman gets his balls blown off.
The tacos and quesadilla were definitely the highlight of that afternoon.
But yeah, Creature Commandos. I like the idea already.
I like it.
Like monsters, classic monsters versus
also,
Nazis.
DC's animation has been killing it.
DC's animation is some of the strongest animation, and not like recently. Not just recently, I should say. It's been good for a long time.
I think we're both fans of the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, the Harley Quinn show. I've been watching the animated movies for a long time.
Right, like the Flashpoint Paradox.
Flashpoint's really good. There's some Batman ones that are really good.
There's the Killing Joke. That one was pretty popular.
Yeah, and I recently watched a couple. Which ones did I watch? I think I watched there's The Son of Batman, which is a Damian Wayne story. If you're curious about Damian Wayne, go watch Son of Batman. These are all on HBO Max too. So
all these Warner Brothers properties.
Yeah,
I have heard that the Killing Joke that a lot of people don't like for some reason. Like,
Yeah,
it's a little over the top
there
with the
was
Joker stuff.
there was a scene in the beginning that they added in that's not in the comics where Joker. No, I think there's two things that are added in because Joker shoots Barbara Gordon and she becomes paralyzed from that. So
Which would be a pretty big storyline if it was.
That is a big
canon.
storyline.
In
the
comic.
comics
Yeah.
that does happen, and she becomes Oracle, where she kind of is like the guy behind the computer, on the team of other superheroes. So that does happen, but in the movie, they have a sex scene with Batman and Batgirl. Like, it's just, like, it's not in the comic. It just, like, happens in the beginning of the... I did watch it, and, I don't know. It's okay. That one particularly is okay. But they do a lot of other really good animated stuff. There's so many of them, I can't remember all of them.
And also, even, I mean, DC's animation has been great going back to the...
90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Batman the Animated Series.
So, Creature Commando. None of this have release dates yet. Well, some of the movies do, just because they wanted to get some stuff out of the way and let you know that this thing is happening. But the first movie's not coming till 2025, and so I do think that the first couple of things we're going to talk about here are shows. So this is going to be an animated show. It's already in production. We'll probably get it 2024, mid 2024 or something like that. The next show after that, let me change my graphics here, is Waller. And so it is Viola Davis is coming back to play Amanda Waller.
She's done a great job so far. And
this Waller series takes place since Peacemaker 2 is on hold right now because James Gunn's running DC right now and doing all this other stuff. Waller is going to be... It takes place between season 1 and 2 of Peacemaker. And so what Hollywood Reporter has is, in a spinoff of Gunn's own HBO Max hit series Peacemaker, Viola Davis will return as the ruthless and morally ambiguous head of a government task force. It's being written by Crystal Henry from Watchmen and Jeremy Carver, the creators of Doom Patrol. I was talking to Jay about this and I was trying to remember. I really liked Doom Patrol for the most part. The season's been but the first 2 seasons of Doom Patrol I really like, and it got canceled. They announced it getting canceled with Titans and I think one other show recently, due to all this DC stuff. And so I'm glad that the writer or the showrunner of
DC stuff and then also HBO Max stuff. Where they're just Warner Brothers stuff in general, where they're like restructuring and all that. Yeah.
I mean, all of Warner Brothers, but DC specific, because it's its own leg of DC or Warner Brothers at this point. So and James Gunn had also confirmed that a lot of the cast from Peacemaker will be making appearances.
Oh, I figured at least like Autobio and
what's her name? I forget. It's actually James Gunn's wife now. I think they got married this last year. Harcourt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She'll definitely. And what's the big guy's name? John something. He's just a big nerd.
Oh yeah,
nerd dude. That dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he's good. I can't remember what his nickname, what his code name is or whatever.
Yeah, I want to rewatch Peacemaker because it's been a minute and that show was really funny.
The show's just a lot of fun.
Freddie Stroma, dude, as Vigilante is just like money. We definitely need more.
We need more Vigilante.
All right, so those 2 shows will probably be out in 2024, and those will lead into the first movie we're going to get, which is Superman Legacy, which is definitely Henry Cavill's playing Superman here. I'm just kidding. He's not. What Hollywood Reporter has here is the movie featuring the Man of Steel that Gunn is writing and may direct, although no commitments on that end have been made. While the 2 previous titles are meant to be, what does that say? Aperitifs? I've never heard that aperitifs.
I think it's aperitif, but
aperitif.
yeah.
I've never heard that word before. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's French. In Saffron's word, Superman is the true kickoff to the duo's DC plans. It's not an origin story, Saffron said. It focuses on Superman balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing.
So it's going to be a Smallville movie.
It's his first year in Metropolis is what they've said.
Yeah.
So not far off, actually. It's him like just arriving in Metropolis.
Sounds good.
He's the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. He is kindness in a world that thinks that kindness is old-fashioned. A release date of July 11th, 2025 has been penciled in. So there's a lot of things I think to be said about Superman. I am not a Superman fanboy. I've never really cared much about the character. He's always been a little bit OP, and even though there wasn't more Superman, when I was a kid, all we had was the Donner, Christopher Reeve Superman, really. And I didn't really connect to those. I was more into the, like, a few years later, we got the Tim Burton Batman. You know?
One thing I do remember from my childhood was the Death and Return of Superman comics series.
That they hyped up.
Yes.
And then brought him back like a year later.
Yeah. That was good stuff, though.
It's capitalism, baby.
That's it.
How do you sell comic books? Kill off your main character and then bring him back like a little bit later.
But I also always think whenever in conversation about Superman, about what David Carradine from Kill Bill says about how Superman is his favorite comic book character and the reason why.
I don't remember.
Well, he says in more, in few words here, he basically says that his favorite comic book character is Superman because all these other characters have their actual identity is like they have a persona, but their actual identity is a person. Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Batman is Bruce Wayne. Well,
Superman.
Superman is Superman.
What's up, Derpy? Sorry.
Superman is Superman.
Yeah.
The only he's really the only one that has a hidden identity. Like his character is Clark Kent, and then he talks about how Clark Kent is like Superman's take on the human race.
Yes. Yeah.
Where he's unsure of himself, he's not confident.
Yeah. I mean, I think
He's sheepish, like just his,
his identity is embodying like a way of life, not like an ideal so much. Like I mean, they're all ideals, but like Batman is Batman because it's his version of justice because his parents didn't get the justice, So
they all have their origin stories, but Superman's origin story is he is an alien.
Yeah, for sure. Which is why you can definitely cast a black actor to play Superman. Some people don't think you can do that, but aliens can be any color. Just throwing that out there. Stormtroopers can also be black. Just saying.
Dude, some people taken aback when
Yes, dude,
that's ridiculous.
Such an crazy online fan base for
like
all of these
for
things.
Like Finn's character.
Well, the first episode 7, Finn. Episode 8 was Kelly Marie Tran. And then, I mean, the fact that I like Rey as a character. I think they could have done more with her, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, because she's a girl, she just gets OP'd. And it's like, she has the same arc as Luke, essentially.
Yeah. It's more of a rehash.
In terms of training. Like, you don't see all of their training on screen, But Superman is interesting. I heard Coy talk about this. What's up, Derpy? Clark Kent. Why did I just? I made that sound like it was 2 Ks, almost a third. Clark Kent. Why do you have to bring up this discussion? Clark Kent. Well, because we're talking about DC stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about Superman,
Yeah.
the new Superman that was announced.
Yeah, and Derpy, I think he's been sending me some stuff about, what was it, James, or no, you sent me something that was Marvel fans watching like DC tear itself apart. It's funny. Yeah, Derpy's been sending me some good reels on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
But I think that they're going with a younger one, a younger Superman, and I think it's important these days to bring hope back to the character. Like, Superman was created during a time when things were shitty. Things are shitty again, and I don't know. It'd be nice to have hope in a character, you know. Even in Zack Snyder's world, like, Henry Cavill says hope through all of those movies, but I didn't feel very hopeful with like the color grading.
Yeah,
those
just the
movies,
overall
you know?
story too.
Yeah. Derpy sent me some more stuff. I'll check it
It's
out.
just like violence and destruction and
Yeah.
stuff. And, I also am kind of a dumbass when it comes to comics too, so my apologies here, Derpy.
We both kind of are. No, I mean, no worries. We both kind of are. This is just why this is a good conversation. I mean, I'm a fan of this stuff. Pat is more of the average fan of these kinds of things. But also, like, earlier I'd mentioned both Marvel and DC are to a point where, like, there's so many characters now that I'm not familiar with a lot of them. I didn't know much about Miss Marvel. You know, I knew the standards: Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, stuff like that growing
Yeah, of
up.
course.
But I haven't stayed active in the comic books community. Honestly, I was never really that active in the comic book community. But there's a lot of stuff that I like. I like art and stuff like that too. Oh yeah. That was one of the videos you made for your stream. Hey, I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to watch it. I'll catch it this weekend. Because you said it was like an hour, and I've been trying to. We've been working on music, and I've been trying to find more work and stuff like that too. But let's see, what do we have after Superman? So after that Superman comes out, we have Lanterns. Oh, where's my graphic? We're getting Lanterns. These are the graphics. No, it's I saw the shorter one, but the longer stream you said was an hour. Let's see.
So the lanterns.
So yeah, Lanterns. All the graphics I'm using are the graphics they use.
Oh, just lanterns.
Yeah. So it's a new take on the space cops with rings, with power rings.
Which, if you want to talk about OP.
Yeah, right. Our vision for this is very much in the vein of True Detective.
All right.
Yes, I knew you were gonna lighten up. Saffron described it. It's terrestrial based. It will feature prominent Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and is one of the most important shows they have in development. This plays a really big role in the leading into the main story we are telling across film and TV. So they said it was going to be like a mystery and buddy cop. I think it's gonna be cool. Jon Stewart is kind of a newer Lantern, and I think they'll probably make Hal Jordan a little bit older, so you have like a older cop, younger cop dynamic. I'm really excited about this one because I know they said it's terrestrial based, but you know, it's the Green Lanterns. There's gonna be all kinds of more. What am I missing? One of your... Sorry, one of your...
Oh, he's talking about his video.
Yeah, but it didn't come in on YouTube's end, but it came in on OBS's end. This happens sometimes. It's called The Death of the DCEU. I wanted to show you.
Yeah, we'll definitely check it out. I'm interested to see it.
The one that you just sent? Yeah, we'll check it out.
But yes, this Lantern show sounds very promising. And there really isn't much of a description.
There's a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. No, I did see this one, the dumpster fire one. Zack Snyder's dead. Oh, this is the other one that you sent that I was referring to was. Oh, it's this one. It was the one from Knives Out. The eat shit. Eat shit. Yeah, this one's good. The Chris Evans one from Knives Out. He just gets up and leaves.
It's just such a great scene.
Yeah. Eat shit, eat shit. Let's check out this other one real quick. Sorry, I can't post these up on the... it's just easier to pull them up on my phone. Oh, yeah. This one...
You know what's great about you, Puddin'? You really put the fun into
Yeah, he made this.
Nice.
Go check out Derpy's YouTube channel.
And he cried not for the passing of one man, but for the death of a dream. The dream that he would someday taste the ultimate victory over his hated enemy. For it was
Kevin Feige.
how I agonized over the perfect way to thank him for that. Perhaps with a cyanide pie in the face.
Cyanide pie to the face. Classic Joker.
Yeah.
Or an exploding whoopee cushion playfully planted in the back.
They hyped up that the Snyder cut. I was just thinking about that. How much that Snyder cut was hyped, and then it dropped, and like people were into it. It was definitely an improvement,
Yes.
but it was it seemed like maybe it was too little, too late. In a sense.
Yes, but it did ignite the online base more of being like, well, if this dropped, we can get the studio to just do more. And
Which ultimately led to where we're at now.
no, not really, because that was before Warner Brothers was up for sale to Warner, because now it's Warner Discovery.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably still some things that were problematic, but yeah, I don't think that was.
No, we can finish this up.
Yeah, let's finish this up. Sorry, where'd it go? There it is.
But those dreams were dashed by the Weasley little gunsel sitting there in our midst.
Zack Snyder.
Insignificant Goner who probably got lucky when Batman slipped on the slime trail this loser left behind him. This mound of diseased hyena filth who's not fit to lick the dirt from my spats. But I digress. The time for sorrow has passed. It's time to look ahead to a future filled with smiles. And I'll be smiling again just as soon as we take that man there and slap him
The Zack Snyder heads are great.
Yeah.
roll it into that vat of acid there. No, I never meant to do it.
You know, Snyder really had a tough break there with DC.
Yeah. Again, I like Zack Snyder. I just didn't like much of the DC universe.
The Man of Steel was pretty solid.
That's my favorite Superman movie.
Good start.
Damn, Joker's about to just straight murder this guy. It's the death of the DCU right there.
I like the kazoo.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Who's for Chinese?
That's brutal. pretty accurate.
I too am excited about the death of the Snyderverse, but I'm also not like there was parts of the Snyderverse that I thought were pretty great. But yeah, so getting back on track here, the Lanterns I'm excited about. There's not a ton of information, but I'm always down for a good buddy cop.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited that there isn't a whole lot of information in this case.
Okay, this is where we get into some weird stuff. I'm not familiar so much with this, and I know you probably have no idea who this is, but the next one up is The Authority. The Authority...
I did read about this one.
Okay, a movie based on a team of superheroes with rather extreme methods of protecting the planet that first originated in the late 90s under the influential imprint known as Wildstorm, the comic brand, run by artist and now head of DC Publishing, Jim Lee. One of the things of the DCU is that it's not just a story about heroes and villains, said Gunn. Not every film and TV show is going to be about a good guy versus bad guy. Giant things from the sky come, and good guys win. There are white hats, black hats, and gray hats, added Saffron. They're kind of like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. They know that you want them on the wall. Sorry, this is... I just can't read. Or at least that they believe that. Yes. So, The Authority is basically a movie that Marvel would never make. Yeah, I think so too. Here, let me pull up the graphic here. So, what I know about them is it's a commentary on comic book characters. Much like The Boys and like Invincible.
Okay.
And I'm curious if, because we live in a world where The Boys and Invincible exist, and there are other stories basically around superhero teams who are gray or whatever. Morally ambiguous,
yeah.
I guess.
What Derpy said here, basically a team of Deadpools with Superman powers.
Yeah,
that sounds wild.
Yeah, it does sound wild. I'm curious how it's gonna do, but also the two main character, or the two like leads, the Superman and Batman of it, Apollo and like, I don't know, like Nighthawk or some shit like that. They're like in a LGBT relationship.
So it sounds like it might be like along the lines of like Watchmen or The Boys, or
yeah, and I totally agree with the statement that it's just a show or a movie I don't think Marvel would ever really make. It sounds interesting. I'm curious about that because, like I said, I think my reservations will lie more in the like. James Gunn's talking about everything here that he's releasing. I think is a good move because it is all new and unique. This one to me feels like 5 years ago, people saying The Boys is new and unique. And I'm like, okay, well, we've had The Boys now. We've had things like that. So I guess it's just what I need to see some stuff, like maybe a first trailer whenever that comes out. Where's the trailer, DC? Where's the trailer?
They'll be here.
Yeah. And the other thing that I am slightly worried about, but not really, is just the fact that there's going to be characters that are hard to swallow for like general audiences, like having basically Batman and Superman like fucking each other.
Yeah,
like,
it'll be an interesting concept. Is this going to be a show or is this a movie?
This is a movie.
All right.
So, but I think all of the characters through all of these shows and movies will probably pop up here and there. So I'm curious how like a lot of general audiences. I'm 100% expecting, people who don't know or didn't hear about this. Whenever they do start hearing that The Authority's happening, maybe they see a trailer or something like that. I know the conversation's gonna go to like, oh well, DC's just doing woke comic book stuff, Like
I could see that, but it doesn't sound like it completely is.
It's like comic books are all woke, you idiot.
Well, that's also just like a very what am I trying to say?
Dumb argument. Yeah.
It's not a very in-depth.
No.
take on that.
If you're using woke as a descriptor to like why something sucks, you're the one that's like not understanding, because you can't just throw out like, oh, it's woke. Well, why is it woke? Because there's a gay couple in there. Oh, you mean the fact that like we haven't had gay couples in like mainstream media for a long time? Like we're doing it more now, but like that's not woke. That's just inclusive.
Agreed.
Anyways, the Authority doesn't have... I think the only thing with the release date is that Superman Legacy. But the next thing that we have up here, this might be my least anticipated project here, but also like my least anticipated project. I'm still like intrigued by it and kind of excited for, and that's Paradise Lost. It's the duo describes it as HBO Max series as it's a HBO Max series set like a Game of Thrones style drama set in the all-female island that is Wonder Woman's birthplace, Themyscira. Filled with the political intrigue and scheming between power players, it takes place before the events of the Wonder Woman film. So it's, I think, even before she's born.
It could be really good.
It sounds like it could be really good. But again, like, you know, with the lanterns, there's not a ton of details. I don't know, like, who's going to be in it. Is it going to be...
But they have, like, this epic... They're setting up this epic show from what it kind of sounds like.
Yeah.
More.
And Wonder Woman is one of the characters that, like... They still haven't said what's happening with it. We do know that they've canceled the third Wonder Woman movie with Patty Jenkins. But if... Some people, I don't think many of the same actors, aside from maybe like Amanda Waller and like the Peacemaker, some of the Suicide Squad crew characters, maybe Harley Quinn.
If it's a prequel, they don't
they'll
need
bring
any of
those
these
back.
characters.
But yeah, like is all of this new? And who was it? It was it Connie Nielsen played Wonder Woman's mom? I mean, she's a big actress. Do they bring her back for this series? You know, is she going to be a player in this? Is it a new, a younger cast version, or is it just new people altogether? So yeah, that's gonna be an HBO Max series, which sounds cool. I'm excited about some of these series. There's some good stuff coming with the series.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it.
But I don't know. I've never been too into the Wonder Woman stuff either, the comics, and I'm not a terribly big fan of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I think she could be a better actress, and maybe a different role would suit her better. I don't know. I'm not trying to have a hate on Gal Gadot conversation here or anything. I don't know. I don't know.
It sounds like she may not even be in it at all. Like there may not be a Wonder Woman even in the movie.
Yeah, no.
Or the show.
The show is definitely like before she's born, so it's like a backstory on Themyscira. There is a conversation I want to have about the casting stuff, but I want to get through these first before I get back to that, because Gal Gadot plays everybody's talking about Henry Cavill's not coming back. He's the only one not coming back from DC, and that's not true. Ray Fisher's not coming back as Cyborg. We forgot about like nobody has brought that up in a while.
Oh man, yeah, he did. He did definitely have a much larger role in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, he had his storyline was actually important in the Snyder Cut.
The way it was supposed to be from the beginning.
And so people are, talking about like, well, if you're not if you're recasting Henry Cavill, but you're not recasting Aquaman, The Flash, Shazam, and Gal Gadot, like, what's the deal? That's a conversation I want to get back to in a couple of minutes. But this is the next one is where I'm pretty excited. This is probably one of my most anticipated out of this batch, and that's The Brave and the Bold. And I know people are gonna say, well, that picture is actually not Bruce Wayne. That's Dick Grayson Batman. Yeah, I don't care. This is the image that they used to get their point across. So this is going to be the outside. This is not the Robert Pattinson Batman. We are getting Robert Pattinson as an Elseworlds Batman trilogy, it seems like. and then there's going to be a larger Bat family in the DCU. So The Brave and the Bold is what this is called. And this is the introduction of the DCU Batman, said Gunn, of Bruce Wayne, and also introduces our favorite Robin, Damian Wayne, who is a little son of a bitch. The movie will take inspiration from the now classic Batman run written by Grant Morrison that introduces Batman to a son he never knew existed, a murderous tween raised by assassins. It's a very strange father and son story, and importantly, it will feature Batman not played by Robert Pattinson. So
you were telling me a little bit about Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was raised by Ra's al Ghul.
I remember coming across learning about who Damian Wayne was, and I was really fascinated because I think it's a really good dynamic for a Robin character. And Damian Wayne has become one of my favorite Robins. Dick Grayson is still, I think, number one for a lot of people, but to me, he's progressed as a character so much into Nightwing and his own thing that he's kind of his own character now, you know? But yeah, Damian Wayne, Talia al Ghul, and Bruce Wayne hook up in an old run, and Talia comes back like a decade later and is like, here's your son. And he's like, what? So Damian Wayne was raised by the League of Assassins and raised to be an assassin. And he's like 10 years old in the comics, and he's a little asshole. He's a little prick. But he's really badass too. And I think it's going to be interesting with, since they are continuing the Robert Pattinson, like dark brooding, year one Batman, like this is going to be older. He's going to be in his like 40s probably. He's going to be a fatherly figure. He's going to be the moral compass for Damian. I think it's a really good dynamic to go with, to juxtapose from the other Batman that we're going to get. But they're also using this to expand the Bat family within the cinematic universe. So, like, yeah, we're going to have Batman, but audiences are going to learn who Nightwing is. They're going to learn who Damian Wayne is. There's probably going to be another Batgirl or...
Man-Bat.
Yeah, Man-Bat or Batmite. That's another one. Man-Bat. Oh, dude, I love Man-Bat. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything you want to?
I just thought I'm looking for. No, just it sounds good. It sounds solid. I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to casting and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a little bit old now. But when Umbrella Academy came out, Fives would have been perfect for Damian Wayne. Like, perfect.
He's got that snarkiness.
Yeah. But yeah, this image is Damian Wayne, and in this comic run, Bruce Wayne is like dead, and Dick Grayson takes up the mantle of Batman, and Damian is his sidekick, and they just like are not like on good terms. So it's like a rough buddy team up,
Sounds promising.
Yeah. So anyways, there was extra stuff here on the Batman sequel. However, there is also the Batman sequel. Pattinson will continue to portray the Dark Knight in at least one more crime saga movie directed by Matt Reeves. This movie is expected. The executive revealed, will be released October 3rd, 2025, and is being titled Batman Part 2. The Batman Part 2.
I mean, that is a little bit of a wait between movies.
But it's
3 years. 3.5 years.
But it's going to be so once we get through this year, because we still have 4 DC movies coming this year: Shazam first, and then The Flash,
and then Aquaman at the end of the year.
Blue Beetle, and then Aquaman. Oh man, yeah. So between the end of after Aquaman, the next movie is going to be Superman Legacy, and then Batman 2. So there's going to be a year, but then we'll get series in 2024. All right, moving on. The next thing we have is a new character Is this? I don't remember. Is this a movie? I think
It's a
this is a
series.
movie. Is this a series?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
series.
HBO Max series based on a unique character, lesser known here, created in 1986, and that character is Booster Gold.
This character looks familiar to me.
Yeah, he's. I keep hearing people say he's like an unknown character. I don't pay much attention to DC, but I've seen Booster Gold plenty of times, like pop in and out of various things. And it's interesting that there's a Blue Beetle thing, because a movie coming out, because they have a good friendship in the comics and they team up a lot. So, excuse me, there could be a Blue Beetle Booster Gold series. But Booster Gold is about a loser from the future who uses basic future technology to come back to today and pretend to be a superhero.
That's so awesome.
Gunn describes it as imposter syndrome as a superhero.
I love that
Yeah.
description already. That's so good.
There, in fan castings, a lot of people have talked about if all the Guardians characters come over, Chris Pratt would be a good Booster Gold, but I don't think he's going to be Booster Gold because Star-Lord's essentially Booster Gold in a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. Playing off that, like, all this Earth technology that really is not impressive at all, especially
Yeah.
like 80s,
To us it
80s,
is, but
80s Earth technology.
Yeah, Booster Gold's a silly character, and I'm looking forward.
Sounds great.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
There's only there's two things left to talk about.
All right.
And then I do want to have some other conversations real quick before we end the show. But we get a Supergirl. There we go. We get a Supergirl movie. This is based off of a recent run. It's actually I think they did say this is going to be an adaptation, not like they're straight like retelling this story. So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tim King. Taking its cues from the recent, Tom King. I said Tim. Tom King written miniseries. This movie promises a different take on than what most think of when Superman's cousin comes to mind. We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off of Krypton, and who watched everybody around her die and be killed in terrible ways, and for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. She's much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we're used to, which I think this sounds like a really interesting take. It's
It sounds pretty dark.
yeah, and also going back, like if you're going to introduce, the Bat family and like a new Superman and the Superman family, Supergirl and all this stuff, having Superman be the hope that everybody else needs, I think this kind of leans into that too. Supergirl is not the hope. She's badass and has dealt with a lot of stuff, but it makes Superman just as important to his character. And I actually looked around today to see if I could find this run of comics. It's sold out in most places, so I didn't find a copy, but the art to this looks amazing. And the run says, "You all right?"
Yeah, I'm good.
You look like you're passing out.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm into it. I'm listening.
Did I catch you passing out?
I was listening. All right.
I was just resting my eyes.
Yeah, I was listening.
All right.
We're talking about Supergirl.
Pat's over it.
No, I'm not over it at all, dude. I'm into it. I was meditating on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I was listening to it. It's just your voice is so hypnotic. It's putting me in a trance here.
So Supergirl.
Yes.
Supergirl lives by herself.
All right. I mean, now you're getting this is weird fan fiction.
No, I did look up the like synopsis for the comic, and it is like, yeah, she's like just kind of over everything, and then some girl comes looking for her help.
She's just like, fuck it. I'm
And
done.
she's kind of like it almost, from what I gather, it kind of has a little bit of the like Logan feel to it in that sense.
It's just we're gonna get like a Supergirl with a nose piercing.
Yeah, for sure. And blue hair.
Yes.
Pixie cut blue hair.
It's like what?
She's got 7 evil exes.
Yes. It's basically going to be a Ramona Flowers rehash. I'm looking. No. It all sounds good, honestly. And then finally, you have
The last thing that I have here, Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing was so badass as a kid.
Yes.
Those toys, like the Swamp Thing toys, were pretty solid. I had a couple of those.
So all we have here for Swamp Thing is a horror film that promises to close out the first part of the first chapter. So this wasn't in the this next thing I'm about to say was not in the
Hollywood Reporter thing.
It wasn't in the announcement, but there has been a rumor that James Mangold is going to direct it, which is pretty amazing. I mean, coming off of he did Logan, and he's doing the new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh,
that's
gonna be big.
And then if he goes from Indiana Jones to Swamp Thing, I think that's really cool. So
maybe Indiana Jones will pop up in Swamp Thing.
Maybe.
Out of the swamp.
It belongs in a museum. So that's the slate that DC has going for it right now. That's it for Swamp Thing. There's really no other information. Yeah. Although like Swamp Thing's badass, and I can't wait to see it. What was I gonna say? I had some stuff I wanted to say about the casting, and I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, about which casting?
All of it. That's what I was going to say. So people are confused. Like, okay, Henry Cavill's not coming back from Superman, but you haven't gotten rid of Gal Gadot. You haven't gotten rid of Ezra Miller or Jason Momoa, blah, blah, blah. The reason that those people have not... and the wording was, the door is open to those characters. Not... Well, first of all, James Gunn clarified that Henry Cavill didn't get fired from DC. He was never cast, which is an important distinction because, yes, the previous heads of Marvel or DC dicked him around a bit, and new people come in the new direction. So that makes sense to me. I understand that statement of he was never cast because, that he was never in the plans of the story that they had that they wanted to tell. Now, when it comes to the other castings of Shazam, Aquaman, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, all of them still have movies coming out. Not Wonder Woman 3 is not coming out, but I think I heard she might be in the Flash movie. Aquaman has a movie coming out. Obviously, Ezra Miller. That's a whole thing. Every one of these characters needs to be recast. And they probably will. I believe they probably will. And the reason that we're not hearing about that is because they have movies coming out. And you don't make a $250 million movie and then say, oh, yeah, we've recast this person like 6 months before the movie comes out. Or you say, yeah, once this movie's over, like none of this means anything anymore. The Flash movie will probably, because it's a Flashpoint.
Right. You probably feature everybody.
Well, it also will serve as a focal point for the reboot. It's a multiversal thing, so you're gonna get this whole Flashpoint reboot essentially through that. Again, I James Gunn and all of the stuff that I've been hearing about the Flash movie for the last handful of months, because there have been screenings of it, test screenings of it. Everything I'm hearing is that it's a really good movie, and that's somewhat surprising. But it is. I mean, kind of. James Gunn even said in his thing, it is the best superhero movie he's seen
ever.
Yeah, take that with a grain of salt because he runs DC now.
True.
So
he's a little biased.
You do have to market your own products. So that's how I feel about this is wait till these movies come out. Wait till the end of the year. 2024, we're getting, we'll have casting news and stuff like that. but we have 4 movies to get through this year, and then next year we have just 2 series. So next year we'll probably be hearing like, yeah, we're not moving forward with Aquaman 3. Maybe later on. The other thing too to remember is they did say these movies that we just talked about, including the 4 movies coming out this year, this is the first half of Chapter 1. Mm-hmm. So we still have another probably 10 movies and TV series to end up to bookend that first chapter.
Well, there's a lot of material to mine.
There's so much stuff to mine, and I'm pretty excited about the future of stuff. After hearing about this, how do you feel about this versus like what you've been hearing about the Snyderverse for the last couple of years? Because it's like, it's cool. There's a cool Superman movie, and then all of a sudden a Batman versus Superman movie, and then Justice League. And
well, this is way more interesting, and this is kind of going back to what we were talking about with Marvel, where you had the core Avengers characters, and then it started branching off into all these lesser-known properties. And it seems like James Gunn at the helm of DC is taking DC, and they've even named it already, the DCU, into a different direction, which is welcome, I think, for most, at least casual fans. Yeah.
And again, there's still some questions that I think some of us have about, the direction. But at the same time, like, give these guys time to make their,
we'll see how it plays out.
If you order food, you have to give the cook time to cook the food. You want a good meal, you got to give them time to produce it. So I trust James Gunn, especially after bringing up the fact that he was co-designing the future of Marvel a handful of years ago with Kevin Feige. He knows what he's doing in regards to handling a big multiple intellectual properties like a Marvel or a DC. So I'm excited about it.
We're off to a good start with James Gunn at the helm of the Suicide Squad.
Hell yeah, and the most
Peacemaker.
To me, the most successful, the best of the DC stuff in the Snyderverse is the James Gunn stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there's a small worry about like his brand of like just weird offshoot characters rubbing off too much, but I'm not too worried about it.
It seems like there's really only one direction to go, and that's up from where we've been.
Well, I think he's taking the right approach with making things unique. Like everything on here is new. Like you haven't seen DC do this before. You're getting a new Batman movie. Yeah, okay. Well, let me tell you this. This is the Batman you're getting. He's a dad. You've never seen that before.
Bat dad.
Bat dad. Bat dad. Anyways. That's a lot of stuff, and I'll probably keep talking about the DC stuff for a while.
I'm sure it'll keep as more casting is announced.
Casting news, just more news, all the development stuff, and hearing if anything gets canceled. I do feel like there's not. Jay asked me this when I was talking to him about this. He asked me, he's like, "Do you think you'll see anything get canceled?" Because DC in the past threw out a whole bunch of slates of stuff. Half those movies didn't get made. And I don't think that there's going to be a lot of cancellations because Warner Brothers is trying to get their shit together, and they can't really afford to just be like paying for developing a bunch of movies and then just canceling them last minute. I think we'll see the majority of these properties get made. So.
Well, good. I'm excited for pretty much everything on the list so far, especially like that Lantern series.
Yeah.
But you said
True Detective. When I said that, you were like, "Oh."
Yeah, which I don't even know.
You woke up. You were napping. You're like, True Detective.
Hey, I wasn't napping, to be fair.
I'm going to give you shit about that forever now.
Good.
The podcast has lore now.
Remember when the guest fell asleep on the podcast?
I'm that bad.
I didn't. I was starting. No.
I didn't, though.
I didn't. Let's be real.
Oh, man, so funny.
But for all those out there, wilddinosaur.com.
You trying to end the show now? Yeah, we should end it pretty soon. But Yeah. I do want to give a quick update on what's going on next week, because next week's kind of a big week.
Let's hear it.
Monday, we're doing our 90s nostalgia. Ryan and I are doing our 90s nostalgia episode
instead
on
of
Monday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, instead of the normal Wednesday, we're doing Stone Roses. We're going to be talking about some Stone Roses on Monday. And then on Wednesday is the big episode. It's episode 100. And Pat is breaking up with me on that episode live on air.
Yeah, the band's over.
So I had mentioned before I was going to try to do some trivia. I don't think I'm going to do the trivia thing. I will. It depends on how many people actually show up to the show.
You do your own trivia. You answer your own questions.
Yeah, I get all the prizes.
Yeah.
I do have a bunch of sticker packs to give out, and I'm not sure like how to necessarily do that. But if you guys show up on Wednesday and like annoy me enough, I'll just send you guys stickers. Really.
Well, of course, there's always the classic. Buy something from wilddinosaur.com. Tag
something.
yourself on
Post
Instagram.
Post it up on Instagram stories and tag me in it, and that way I know you've posted it, and I'll send you some stickers. But yeah, I'm trying to do some fun stuff. And one of the things that we're gonna announce right now is the New Pants 2 record is very close to being done. We are finally getting into our final mixing stages. We'll have some announcements probably shortly. We might even have an announcement next week on Wednesday.
True.
Maybe. I don't know yet. But what we will be doing is we will be premiering one of the new tracks from that record on Wednesday's episode. So come celebrate 100 episodes with me, and you'll get to hear some new music at the same time. Almost hot off the press. Basically hot off the presses.
I would say hot off the press.
Don't burn your tongue. Anything you want to say?
I want to say that wilddinosaur.com changed my life. And it could change yours as well.
It could.
All you need
Holy
to do
shit,
is,
dude, you're like the best ad forever.
all you need to do is log in, type those letters, wilddinosaur.com.
And then go to the store, check out the merch stuff there.
Possibly, I've been hearing some rumors about some new designs. Maybe
There's definitely some stuff in the works. I need to organize the website as well, so there might be. I'm not sure when, but there might be some new designs coming in the next.
Listen to
couple
that.
months.
I mean, new record, new designs.
There's a lot of music
Hard at work.
probably coming from me this year.
Hard at work.
Yeah, hard.
At work.
At work.
Yeah, some people might report that, but you know what?
I am hard
At work.
at work on a lot of music and video stuff too. Hey, you got an office that I can shoot a sketch in? I need to reshoot a sketch. Pat was there for it.
Tag Wild Dinosaur in your in your picture of your office. Let's see what you got.
All right.
Send that over.
Well, aside from checking out wilddinosaur.com, the last thing I like to have people do is check the link in the description. There is a link there to donate to Planned Parenthood, because
Yes.
Planned Parenthood's pretty badass. They do all kinds of great stuff, and if you live in the United States, you probably understand why. Healthcare sucks. And so, yeah, supporting an organization like Planned Parenthood is... look... If you're an Andrew Tate fan, you'd be a top G. You could be the toppest of Gs if you go and support Planned Parenthood. I'm just saying.
While you're at it, maybe meander over to wilddinosaur.com.
And maybe while you're at it, stop listening to Andrew Tate.
Yeah, he doesn't really. His core values don't necessarily represent the Planned Parenthood approach.
No, but they do represent getting a Bugatti.
Jeez,
I'm sorry.
You've given Andrew Tate too much airtime already.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. All right. Well, I'm going to end the show then. So I hope you guys have a good weekend.
Yes.
Come back on Monday. We'll talk about some Stone Roses. And Pat will be here sometime next week. Maybe 2 days. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. And I'll see you then. Peace out.
Peace.